one where the story of water on Earth.
Imagine for a moment that all the water on us came from every ocean wave, every lake, stream, and underground river, every raindrop and snowflake, and every piece of ice in glaciers and polar ice caps is part of this global wear. So whether you are turning on a faucet in North America, pulling water from a well in Kenya, or bathing in a river in India, it is all the same water, and because it is all connected, how we treat the water in a well will affect every species on the planet, including us now and for years to come. Earth is the only planet that has liquid water and is therefore the only planet that can support. You need water, and so does every other living organism, every pulse, every plant, and every animal. Without water, nothing can survive. The amount of water on Earth hasn't ever changed. It has been the same for billions of years. We live on a watery planet. Almost 70% of Earth's surface is covered with water. This surface water is found in oceans, lakes, rivers, streams, marshes, even in puddles and the morning dew. There is so much water that if you looked down at us from space, it would appear blue. But there is also water we can't see beneath the Earth's surface. This groundwater can be found just about everywhere. It fills the cracks in rocks and the space between rocks. Most groundwater is close to the Earth's surface, but some of it is buried quite deep. Water is also frozen in glaciers and polar ice caps, and there is water in the atmosphere. Every one of they were ocean.
Recycling water in the well. The water you drank today may have rained down on the Amazon rainforest 5 years ago. 100 years ago, it may have been steam escaping a teapot in India. 10,000 years ago, it may have flowed in an underground river. 100,000 years ago, it may have been frozen solid in a glacier. And 100 million years ago, it may have quenched the thirst of a dinosaur. The amount of water on Earth doesn't change. There's no more water now than when the dinosaurs walked the Earth. The same water just keeps going through a cycle over and over again. This constant movement of water is called the water cycle. During the water cycle, water evaporates from oceans, lakes, rivers, ponds, and puddles, even from plants and animals. It rises into the air as water vapor. As water vapor rises, it cools into tiny water droplets. This is called condensation. These droplets form clouds. Gradually, clouds collect more and more water droplets. The average white cloud weighs about twice as much as a blue whale. When water droplets get too heavy, They fall from the clouds in the form of hail, snow, or rain. This precipitation returns to oceans, lakes, and rivers. It also seeps into the soil and down into the groundwater. Year after year, water continuously circulates through the water cycle. In one year, an area of rainforest the size of a football field pumps over 7,500 liters of water vapor into the atmosphere, more than enough to fill a backyard swimming pool. It takes about 1 million tiny water droplets to make just one raindrop. Why only the ocean's salty? Rivers flow into the sea, collecting salt from rocks and soil and adding it to the ocean. As ocean water evaporates, the salt is left behind. How thirsty is a tree? On a summer's day, an average-sized birch tree can draw about 300 liters of water from the soil. That's almost enough water to fill two large bathtubs. Many plants depend on water to disperse their seeds. A coconut, the seed of a plum tree, can spend weeks, months, or even years drifting in the ocean before reaching land and sprouting. The plants you eat are mostly water. Tomatoes are about 95% water. Apples are about 85% water. Seeds are among the driest foods. They contain only 5 to 10% water. Plants at the well. The first plants on Earth began life in the water about 450 million years ago. Some were washed ashore. At first, they could live only in wet areas. Gradually, they developed root systems that allowed them to tap into water in the soil. Water is essential to plants. In fact, plants are mostly water. It's the water in their cells that gives them their shape and form. Without it, they drop and shrivel. Water also helps make food for themselves. Plants use the sun's energy to change water and carbon dioxide into simple sugars that feed the plant. This process is called photosynthesis. Water then helps carry this food throughout the plant. During photosynthesis, plants also release water vapor into the air. Roots absorb water which is carried to the stem. The stem acts like a water pipe in your house, moving water through the plant to the leaves. From the leaves, water is released back into the atmosphere. This is called transpiration. The water that is transpired is added to the cycle of water on Earth. Water is important to plants, but plants are also important to water. Plant roots ensure soil and stop it from blowing or washing into lakes and rivers. Leaves and branches trap rainwater, allowing it to seep slowly into the soil instead of flowing quickly away. And trees provide shade, which helps keep moisture in the soil. Plants depend on water from the well for survival, and the well depends on plants to help move water through its cycle. Without plants, the water cycle would be disrupted. Without water, plants could not survive. Animals at the well. Like plants, animals, including you, are mostly made of water. The water in animals is very important. It carries nutrients, helps digestion, removes waste, controls temperature, cleans eyes, and lubricates oils joints. Water habitats are also home to many of Earth's animals and are where many animals find their food. Waterly species such as fish, crabs, shrimp, and zooplankton are an important part of food chains around the world. A food chain is the link that connects animals and other species based on who eats whom. Without water-based species, food chains and food webs, collections of food chains would collapse. Animals would starve. Animals not only need water to survive, they are also part of the water cycle. Animals add water to the atmosphere by breathing, sweating, peeing, and even drooling. The water you brushed your teeth with today may have been the spray of a beluga whale 10 years ago. Some of the wettest animals on Earth are the jellyfish. They are about 95% water. Frogs and earthworms are about 80% water. Wild dogs, elephants, and humans are about 70% water. All animals need water to drink, even desert animals. They get much of the water they need from the food they eat. Animals began in the ocean. Then, about 360 million years ago, some animals started to evolve. Their bodies began to change and they slowly adapted to living on land.
Saltwater marshes are wetlands that occur where the land meets the sea. These habitats are home to a wide diversity of species, from microfish, bacteria, fungi, and algae to fish, crustaceans, reptiles, birds, and mammals. Some rainforest frog, insects, spiders, worms, and bacteria live there and live in the tiny pool of water that get trapped by the leaf of the bromeliad plant. How can fish live in frozen lake? Water freezes from the top down, but it rarely freezes right through. The ice at the surface is like blanket that keep the water below from freezing. Coral reefs are found in the warm, shallow water of ocean. They have been described as the rainbows of the sea because they are home to an incredible diversity of species. A habitat is a place where an animal can find everything it needs to live: food, shelter, space, and water. Water is such an important part of an animal habitat that if there isn't enough unever, the animal will move away even if all its other needs are met. Most animals depend entirely on water places such as ocean, lake, and woodland for their habitat. Freshwater habitats like river streams are home to about 12% of all the animal species in the world. Saltwater habitats, ocean, sea, and some saltwater lakes are home to 16% of all fish species as well as many other species, including some mammals and reptiles such as whales, turtles, and sea snakes. Some of these animals live their whole live in water and wouldn't survive out of it. Others such as frog, toad, and many insects spend part of their life in the water and part of land wetland Water is their habit of just part of their habit. Animal could not survive without it. Since the beginning of time, people have depended on water for drink, for food, for bathing, and for watering their crop. Water has always provided a highway to move people and products from place to place. As cities and societies grow, so does their need for water. Today, water is essential. Today, water is essential in our home, in industry, and in agriculture. At home, we use water for cleaning, cooking, drinking, brushing toilet, and for bathing. But home account for only 10% of all the pressing water used. About 21% of the water we use going to make everything from computer to car. Water is used in hybrid current plant or generate electricity and plant from to make gas. In factory, water is used to heat things or cool things down and to wash away water. Water bubbles even long can leave. Water is also an ingredient in many products such as lard, lotion, shampoo, chemicals, and drink. The remaining 69% of the pressing water we use going into agriculture from use huge amount of water for crop and livestock. Look around, almost everything you see water made using water. It took about 1/3 of water to make your bike. Water was used to grow and make the food you eat and the clothes you wear. Water was even used to make the paper for this book and the ink used to print the word. It takes about 185 of water to produce just one glass of milk. This includes the water the cow drinks, the water used to grow food for the cow, and the water needed to process the milk. About 147,000 of water was needed to make your family car. In North America home, the bathroom is where about 3/4 of all water is used. 1/4 of the toilet used near 13 liters. A lot of water is required to produce the food you eat. Approximately 5,200 of water is needed just to make one fast food lunch. Nearly 1 billion people around the world depend on fish as their primary source of protein. Thirsty people drink on average of 2 liters of water a day. In your lifetime, you will drink a equivalent of a backyard swimming pool full of water. Lake Baikal in southeast Siberia contains almost 150. The Bowling Grove in Alaska in the Arctic Ocean in North America is about 5 times bigger than New York City and nearly twice as tall as the Empire State Building. Approximately 0.001% of all water on Earth is in the atmosphere. If a tanker truck represents of the water of Earth, the water in the atmosphere would barely pull in 30 of hot can. Around the world, more than half the drinking water we use comes from underground occur layer of ground pure rock or soil that trip large amounts of water. Though we will on a water plant, not all of that water can be used to meet our needs. That's because we humans and many other species depend on placing water, and species of placing water are limited. Most of the water of Earth in salt water, almost 97%. Only 3% is placing water. If a tanker truck filled with water represents all the water on Earth, then the water used to fill a large bathroom used represent all of the plant pressing water. But most of the pressing water, over 99%, is frozen in ice cap and glacier trapped deep underground or in the archisphere so we can use it. How much pressing water is alive to use? Remember that bathroom. Imagine playing 9 pop can from it. This represents all the pressing water we can use. While there is a lot of water on the planet, we have access to less than 1% of it.
Some families are lucky. They can turn on the tap for drinking water to fill a bathtub, wash their car, or water the garden. But other families around the world are less fortunate. 1 billion people, almost 16% of Earth's population, have to walk more than 15 minutes to get to the nearest water supply. There they gather water for the day, just a few jugs, barely enough for drinking, cooking, and cleaning. Other families don't have access to enough water to meet even these most basic needs. While the amount of water on Earth is always the same, the distribution of water across the world isn't. Huge difference in rainfall can happen from country to country and even within the same country. Less rainfall means less water available in lakes, rivers, and aquifers. Sometimes there just isn't enough water where it's needed most, because water is not even distributed. Across the globe, nearly 1/5 of the world's population does not have access to enough water. Many of these people live in Africa and Asia. A bucket of water weighs about 10 kilograms. Imagine if you had to carry a bucket or two from a well to your house every day. North America has 1/3 the population of Africa, yet North Americans use 3 times as much water. How is this possible? Only 300 million people in Africa do not have access to enough fresh water. China and India are home to over 1/3 of the world's population, yet they only have access to 1/10 of the world's fresh water. We need more and more water for crops and livestock in order to feed Earth's growing population. By 2025, many experts predict that 1 out of every 4 people will live in a country that is short of water. By 2050, 4 billion people may be living without enough clean water. Every day, all the world's livestock drink the equivalent of more than 16,000 large tanker trucks full of water. 732478200, give or take a few. That's how many people there are on Earth, and that number is growing every day. More people mean a greater demand for water. But this growing population isn't the only thing popping. A growing population also means we need more space as towns and cities grow to accommodate all these people. They globe up land, which also affects nearby water. Houses, buildings, and roads sometimes take the place of wetland habitats where animals live, which puts species at risk. They also challenge the way rainwater, lakes, and streams flow, and pavement and concrete block rainwater from leaving underground water supplies. There are more of us, and our demand for water at home, in industry, and in agriculture has grown tremendously. But all the water we have is all the water we ever will have. There is no more water now than there was 100 or 100 or even 10,000 years ago, and there will be no more 100 years from now when the population may be closer to 10 billion. We need to find a balance without our demands for water and the amount of water that's available to us. While dams make more water available, they also change the flow of rivers and damage habitats.
The water cycle helps keep our water clean, as water excess mineral, chemical, and dirt are left behind. The water vapor that rises into the atmosphere is rarely clean. When rain bursts back to earth, some of it is filtered through rocks and sand and is better cleaned. Even plants play a role as water travels through them. Plants remove chemicals in the water, then they traffic clean water back into the air. But more and more waste from industry, agriculture, and homes is getting into the water loop up from backyard, city streets, and from dumps, dirt and chemical into lakes, rivers, streams, and ponds. Population in the atmosphere from cars and factories speaks water vapor in the air. The rain that pollutes surface water and groundwater. Our actions may be overloading water nature ability to clean itself. As moving water becomes polluted, there is less clean water available. Nearly 18% of sickness in the water world and cause be unsafe water, and wildlife suffers too. Water pollution threatens the health of many species and habitats across the planet. Because of water self-cleaning, the effect of pollution can be stopped and quite possibly reversed, but to do so, we need to reduce amount of pollution that gets into the water. Water dilutes more things than any other liquid, so in nature, water is never really pure. It always has something dissolvable in it. Every day, 1.8 million tons of garbage are dumped. Water enough to fill more than 1500 boxcars. Wetlands are natural water treatment plants. They avoid chemical and filter our pollution and waste. When pollution in the air mixes with rain, it can turn into acid rain or even acid. This acid perfect can burn thousands of kilometers from the source of the pollution, even reaching areas such as the Arctic. Water has the power to change everything. A single splash can spot quench a thirst, provide habit, generate energy and sustain life. It is also has the power to end or divide the world. Water is the most basic and important need of our life on Earth. But Earth one where is the trouble. There is simply not enough clean water to go around. Taking action to conserve water can help save the water. Conserving water means protecting both quantity and quality of water on Earth. For example, using less water helps prevent water source from drying up, and reducing water pollution protects the overall health of the water. Water conservation can help ensure there is enough clean water for everyone on the planet. By becoming more aware of how you use water and by using less, you too can protect the water in Earth one well. Remember, every drop counts.